Alright, so picture this. You're in Phoenix, Arizona. You're like 21, 22 years old. You're at an intersection getting ready to go on the highway to hang out with some friends. It's gonna be a good time, right? Well, for whatever reason, your stupid, dumb, early 20s brain says, well, let me try and practice my race starts. So, you're revving up your engine, and the light turns green. You basically dump the clutch and you fucking book it. You're redlining first gear. It's pretty intense. It's fucking awesome. You're having a great time. But then you realize your skills are far outmatched by the ability of the motorcycle. So you shift in the second gear, not realizing that your bars are cocked to the right. You land the front wheel back down onto the ground because you were power wheeling like a maniac. And then, boom, you crash your motorcycle at 70 miles an hour. Now that you've pictured that, imagine what it is like, I don't know, say I think it's like 3 years now, after that. That is going to be the topic of my video today. What to do after you've been in a motorcycle accident and how to get back into riding. It's going to be a pretty fun time. So, you get in a motorcycle accident, you're kind of trying to figure out what to do. Do you want to hop right back on the bike? You're a little nervous to hop back on the bike. Are you a go-getter? You're like, fuck it, I'm invincible, I'm getting back on the bike, I don't give a fuck. I'm just going to go over things about what might be going through your head. And a lot of it's going to be from personal experience. You know, I got in a pretty bad motorcycle accident about 3 years ago. And yeah, it's kind of it put it into perspective that I'm not invincible. I was also on the other side of the country, and my family was in Illinois. I was in Arizona, so like it was kind of difficult to get the help that I needed. I had to wait. I think it was like a day and a half before my mom was able to come out and basically take care of me because I couldn't walk. I couldn't put on my own bandages. It was fucked. A lot of it's going to be from personal experience and just kind of like what I dealt with, what I'm still actually dealing with because I, for whatever reason, can't mentally get over the accident. Maybe this will kind of help me in just getting it out in the air. But it's also, you know, it's a video that maybe someone can relate to or someone has had a similar situation and they kind of just, they know that other people out there are feeling the same. So, welcome to Rowdy's Safe Zone, where you can cry, or bitch, or complain, or tell me I'm a giant pussy, whatever it is. But here we are, no judging. Like, right after the accident, and up until, basically I was physically able to get on the bike, I was like raring to go. I was like, I'm gonna find a way to fucking ride my motorcycle, even with the boot on my foot. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna ride. I don't care. I'm gonna do it. Blah, 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 blah. It was all talk. The moment that my doctor was like, hey, Rowdy, you're good to go. Let's fucking, you can go ride. And I was like, fuck yeah. So, my friend and I, we decided to ride to Chipotle because that was a very close area. They didn't have to take the highway because the highway was, to get to the highway from where my house was where I crashed. So we were able to take side streets there and avoid that area. So we rode to Chipotle, but like getting on the bike was just, it was very nerve-wracking actually. Getting back on the bike after, it had been a couple months at least. A few months maybe. I don't know, there was something in my head that all that excitement, all that like motivation to get back up on the bike was, it kind of just left. I don't know why. Like once I was sitting on the bike, it was started, and like I was ready to go, I got scared. And I think it was just the fact that at the time I really didn't know why I crashed. I was still kind of mulling it over my head, like kind of, was it me, was it the bike, I don't know. It was all sorts of weird, stupid things, and in reality it was my fault. Totally 100% my fault. Like, the bike had nothing to do with it. It was just me being a fucking idiot. But, yeah, so there's a lot going in my head, and I was very cautious to the point of like it not being good. Like, being cautious is a good thing, especially on a motorcycle, because one wrong move and you could die, or get hit by a car, or hit a tree, or a guardrail, or a squirrel. I don't know, whatever. But it's good to be cautious. But it's not good to be overly cautious, because you're overly cautious, you can't make a decision. You hesitate on everything, you are too afraid to actually act. So it was just kind of all of that going on in my head, and eventually, I mean, once I started riding, it was kind of like riding a bicycle. It came back to me, and I was a little more comfortable, like once I actually got on the road. But until, like, just sitting on the bike, like say I'm in the parking lot, I was just sitting on the bike and I was like, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, this is it, I actually get to go. And I was just kind of freaking out internally, and I just took it real slow. I don't know, call me a bitch or whatever, but I'm still a little skittish at doing certain things on a bike. But I did notice that when I was going in the turns, and I still do this today, that's why like I fucking have chicken strips the size of, I don't know, fucking Texas. I'm afraid going in the turns, which is weird because I crash going in a straight line. Most people crash out when they're going around a turn. I crash in straight lines. Leave it to Roddy to be fucking unique, right? So if you guys watch me going into this turn, I'm doing the recommended 30 miles an hour. I'm very skeptical about it. It's just something that's always kind of been there since I crashed. And I know it's there, and I think about it every time I turn. And I do the whole, you know, look where you're going, lean off the bike thing, but I just never have enough, I just can't get myself to go fast through a turn, because in the back of my head I just think, what if I crash? That's gonna hurt. And yeah, that's probably just me being a little bitch. So, and I'm still dealing with that now. Like, I'm still kind of trying to get over the fact of like, hey, I'm probably not gonna fall, but there's just this little thing in the back of my head that's like, yay, you might. At least that's oh, congratulations, they just got married. I mean, yay, good for them. Yeah, it's kind of one of those things where it kind of sticks with you, but that's me personally. You might crash, you might recover, get back on your bike, or a different bike, depending on how bad the accident was, and you can just fucking go out and be a goddamn street Rossi. That's different. Everyone's different with this stuff, but for me, it's still kind of hard to get past some of the nervousness, some of the I guess fear. Really, it really comes down to just being afraid of crashing again. So one thing that I found that helped after my accident was doing a track day. Granted, I've only done one, and I wasn't very good. I was in the last group, so the slowest group, and I was the last person in the last group, so I was the slowest person at the track day, which is fine, because it was a smaller track day, there weren't as many people as normal, and if you go into a track day thinking that you're going to be number one, you're going to be fucking Marc Marquez or whatever, you're going to the track day for the wrong reasons. I went there to try and increase my confidence on a bike because I had lost all of it. I thought I was a good rider. I crashed, and it kind of made me look at it and be like, wow, I'm really not good at all. Like, I'm actually pretty bad. So I went there in hopes to kind of boost my confidence, and it did. I felt a lot better on a motorcycle after the track day. Now it's a matter of just doing them more routinely so that I can actually improve my skills a lot more. One thing I didn't want to say though is probably about a year after my accident, I had like weird flashbacks or kind of like sudden moments of anxiety, whether I was in my car or on my bike, more so on my bike than anything, and it kind of pushed me to keep that fear of riding. Granted, I still rode, I didn't let that stop me, but it did definitely slow me down with it. So I don't get those anymore, which is good. And I'm not really sure what it was, but it kind of just made me, like, I had like flashbacks to the accident, and it just gave me, like, I got scared or like nervous, or yeah, it was really strange. And they don't happen anymore, really. Maybe once every, like, I don't know, 6 months or 7 months, or like, it's a long time. Like, it doesn't happen often anymore, but it's something that, I mean, I think should be known that that's okay. That's you, I think, processing the fact that you're back on a bike, you're back on something that is, you know, it hurt you pretty bad. It is dangerous. Like, if you're on the bike and it's happening, you might just need to pull over, take a breather, take your helmet off, get some, you know, a little more air circulation, and then get back on the bike and just take a nice slow cruise home. That's fine. It happened to me very often when it first started. Like, it was almost once a week, twice a week. Like, it was a lot. And I kind of just pushed through it. I didn't really talk to anyone about it. I think I talked to my mom, because she was the one that was most worried, and she's usually pretty level-headed about that stuff. Yeah, I'm a mama's boy, leave me alone. But that's really the only person I talked to about it. It did help, just kind of, it got a little bit of a weight off my chest, and it's not something that's bad at all.